before I started shooting, this was going really fast, and I could see all this, what looks like, it looks like a dog to me that's appearing here. I don't know if it is or it isn't what it's meant to be. All it is, there's a big tree outside my apartment. It's a beautiful tree, and whenever there's like dodgy weather, it sways. It's brilliant. I watch it for hours. It's lovely. And when the sun shines through the leaves, it gives you a beautiful coloration, but it also gives you this effect of like flickering light into the bathroom. I'm in the bathroom here, and sometimes it makes these tiles glow up. You know, they just light up really good. There's obviously something shadowing there. I think it could be the towels hanging down, actually. It could be, I think it's the towels. Towels here. I think it's a shadow. I think the light is coming up through that window. No, coming through the window, not up through it. It's coming through the window, hitting those towels. And when the tree gets in, what you can see the bits of the tree. Look at the tree. I don't know if you can see the tree moving outside. No, not really. Sort of thing, cameras never really capture what you can see with your eyes, do they? Oh, fingers are going dead holding onto the phone. Anyway, let's get there he is. There's a dog. See? Looks like a dog, doesn't it? Oh, I want to pan back a little bit, really, so you get more of a... I'm shooting this on an iPhone. It's an old one as well. It's not even a new one. It's a 6, I think, or 7, might be. I'm not really that into phones. I mean, no, that's actually not true. I mean, I'm shooting this on a phone. It's brilliant for this. But I don't need the latest shit. I'm from the last millennium. I don't need anything too fancy. Isn't it great how sometimes something just naturally happens and you just see this like thing, you know, piece of art. I mean, it's like, I'm going to put some music to this. I'm going to put some of my drone music to this. I've got hours and hours of drone music. I've done over 240 hours of public performance drone music. I've droned for up to 8 hours a day. I did that for 9 days in a row in Tasmania at Dark Mofo Festival. That was a lot. That was a lot. It really took a lot out of me, but I recorded it all. So I got hours and hours of this stuff, and it's really powerful stuff. Lou Reed said, you know, he felt healed in the drones. I feel healed in the drones. I feel healed in. That's what he said, you know. Never seen Lou so happy as when he was doing guitar feedback. Turns into a 5-year-old right in front of you. Absolutely fantastic. He absolutely love guitar feedback. That's why I hate these people who are just all the time, oh, Metal Machine music was like a bullshit thing to get out of a contract. You didn't know Lou Reed, clearly, because he did drone music throughout his career. He did it before Metal Machine music. He started with the Ostrich song in 1964, before the Velvet Underground even. The Ostrich song. He stole the tuning from Jerry Vance. Jerry Vance came up with this tuning where you tune all the strings to one note. People go, oh, it's all one note. No, it's one note across 3 octaves. So you've got 3 octaves that you're working with. And the other thing is that people don't get, they just think of a note like it's a MIDI on-off switch. But strings are not like that. They're under different tensions, and the different tensions give different tunings, and they start performing against each other. They push and pull against each other, and different harmonic Like if you've got one note and it's C and the string's really tight, you're going to get really high harmonics, really, really bright. But if the string is tuned to C and it's slack and loose, you're going to get these lower harmonics, but also it could be rattling. You know, the other string might make it rattle. And in the rattling, the difference between the two notes, there'll be like, it's interference patterns. It's quite amazing. I mean, obviously I've been doing it for, since 2013 when Lou died. But actually I did it before then, because I did hours and hours of it ready for the Metal Machine Trio tour. Anyway, so yeah, I'm going to put some drone behind it. I think this would be quite meditative. Obviously I won't have my voice on it, I'll just get rid of that. Because just like Lou Reed and John Lennon, I hate the sound of my voice when I hear it back. I think we all do though, don't we? I know Lou hated his voice, he said it to me. We were recording Strawberry Hill. No, not Strawberry Hill, Salisbury Hill. I'm shit with names. Salisbury Hill. Peter Gabriel. Climbing up on Salisbury Hill. Da, ba, da, ba, da. Anyway, we recorded it at Lou's house, and there's a whole I could talk for hours about just the story. I mean, interestingly, Steve Hunter's on the original, Peter Gabriel, and Steve Hunter's also on the Lou Reed one. But there's so much of it. Anyway, we'd recorded the whole thing, and then they were mixing it. I'd gone off to do whatever, and I just came up to the house one day. I was going to tune the guitars and intonate everything like I did every week, and they were in the upstairs in the studio mixing, and they were putting delay on voices and panning tom-toms and doing all sorts of stuff. And I actually thought that they'd made it worse. Yeah, when we actually recorded it, like right out the gate, it sounded fucking amazing. To the point where everyone knew it, and it was just like, send that to Steve Hunter, get him to play some fucking great guitar on it, which he did. He played beautiful guitar, which everyone commented about, and because that was a kiss of death then, that meant that Lou had to mix it low in the mix, because anyone else that, you know, I don't know, he's funny about certain things. Anyway, so I walk in the room and they're mixing and stuff, and at some point it sort of quietens down, and Lou turns to me and says, "Hey, what do you think?" And now it's very tricky with Lou Reed, because you can't lie to him. Absolutely never ever lie to him. Don't bullshit him, because he'll know. You've got to be honest, but if you're being honest and you're going to say something that's going to piss him off, you've got to be very, very careful, very diplomatic. And I said, you know, Lou, to me, this version of this song that you've done here, it's all about your voice and your guitar, that fuzzy guitar. You've used a death pedal on this. That fuzz that Pete Cornish has built for you is absolutely amazing. And the way you've played on it and the way you sang, because we both know that you did this spontaneously. You did this in one take. The guitar was one take, and then the vocal was meant to be a scratch vocal on what you considered a cheap piece of shit microphone, which was a Rode mic. And you didn't care because it's just a scratch vocal. And then when we played it back, it was that good that you didn't even leave to go to whatever event you were meant to be going somewhere, and you heard your voice and you stood there and was like, wow, that sounds great. And it did. And now you've buried it all. You put all delay on your voice, you've done this. The ad-libs that you did at the end of the track, you've buried them. They were really important. Anyway, I waited for him to get really pissed off with me telling him the truth, and he said, you know what? Bob Ezrin said exactly the same thing. And I said, well, you know what? Bob Ezrin is no slouch, man. He's a pretty cool producer. He's done some very, very cool shit. And if he's saying something, and I'm saying something, maybe we've got a point. Yeah, but that's it. Then Lou was like, well, but you don't understand. I hate my voice. I said, yeah, you and Jimi Hendrix. What do you mean? Well, Jimi Hendrix hated his voice. It's documented that he would always be pulling the fader down. He couldn't stand the sound of his voice. And Chaz Chandler would be pushing the fader up. I said to Lou, I said, personally, I love Jimi Hendrix's voice. I think it's just an awesome voice. He just sounds so good. Yeah, and I knew that I was going to hit with that because I knew Lou absolutely loves Jimi Hendrix. And he said, let's go downstairs and get some coffee. And so we did. And on the walk downstairs, he said, you know, I think John Lennon was the same thing. I said, yeah, Lennon hated his voice as well. That's why flanging was invented, because they lent on the bloody tape to tape, the reel to reel tape machines, and it slowed it down a bit and it started this flanging thing. And Lennon was like, put anything on my voice to make it sound different, because he hated his voice too. So I guess we all hate our voices. Anyway, this is far too long a video, and I don't think the dog's going to come. It's kind of there, but you can see. It's just going to be a movie sound. Well, I'm going to do a soundtrack to this, I think. There it is, look at it. Oh, come on, I love it when it goes. Come on, go really fast. And cue the dog. Bugger, you can't work with animals, they just don't work on cue. Children and animals. Ooh, manifestations. Anyway, that's 12 minutes of nonsense.